Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the NBA slate on Draftkings and Yahoo for Friday, April the 22nd. I got a 3-game slate for Friday night. Going to talk through each one of these 3 games, talk through what stands out to me, taking a first look at this slate on Thursday night. We'll go through each team, break down each team, just kind of give my early thoughts. But before we do get started with the breakdown, as always guys, please hit that like button down below. Appreciate all you guys tuning into these videos every single day. Make sure you're hitting that like button, and if you have not yet, hit that subscribe button as well. I do upload these NBA videos every single day. I've been uploading every single day during the playoffs. I'm going to continue to try and do that. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not yet. Also, go check out the sponsor of the video, Prize Picks. So Prize Picks, a player prop based DFS site, very simple. You're just picking the over or the under on players' projections. You have to make at least 2 picks, but you can make up to 5 picks and you can win up to 10 extra money on Prize Picks. They do already have some props posted for Friday night's games, so you can take a look at their board. Take a look and see what stands out to you. Again, you're just making your selections over or under one way or the other. Very simple site to use, very easy to use. Obviously, if you guys want to try out Prize Picks, you can sign up with my promo code Noah. They will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. And as always, I will share a couple of my favorite plays on Prize Picks for today. I'll probably upload that video a little bit after this video goes live. So after you watch this video, check my channel. I should have my Prize Picks video posted talking through a couple of my favorite plays for Prize Picks today. But let's go ahead and break down this Friday night slate. We'll start off with the Miami and Atlanta game. So we got game 3 of this series. Obviously, back in Atlanta now. Atlanta down 0-2, so they're definitely going to have to come away with the win here. I'm pretty sure, I don't think a team has ever come back from a 0-3 deficit. So big game here for Atlanta. They need to get a win. We'll start off on the Miami side. And looking at Miami today, when it comes to their main guys, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, at their price tags, I think Jimmy's probably my favorite at 8,800 just because, his minutes have been massive so far in the playoffs. He played 39 minutes last game. He played 33 in the blowout. He's going to get huge minutes. He's obviously coming off a huge game. I think the price tag coming up a little bit doesn't make Jimmy like a standout play today, but he might be my favorite play from this Heat team. I really haven't been on a ton of Heat guys lately. I've been playing Lowry the last few slates, but I really haven't been rostering anyone else. Bam is questionable again, but he's going to play. I don't know why they're listing him questionable. I'd expect him to play at 7K. This is a really cheap price tag for Bam, but it is worth noting that he's been really bad lately, so I don't know if he's injured right now or what's going on. But the last 2 games, it's been bad. 28 minutes and only 23 DK points, 24 minutes and only 18 DraftKings points. Not sure what's going on with Bam. At 7K, this is a really cheap price tag for him. I don't know if we've seen, I don't think Bam has been 7K all season. He's never been this cheap. So getting a really low price tag on Bam, he's obviously a really productive player when he's out there, but maybe he's dealing with injury right now. I don't exactly know. He's a little bit of a riskier option just because he hasn't been playing that well. But the price tag does make him, at least viable in my opinion. Tyler Hero at 6,600 doesn't really stand out to me. Obviously, he can get hot off the bench any night, but not someone I'm really looking to roster. Kyle Lowry, I was on last slate, and he was very disappointing. He played huge minutes, 37 minutes, just had 20 DK points, though. Lowry should get big minutes, and I think in the playoffs, he'll play probably 36 to 40 minutes a night. 6,500, probably an appropriate price tag for Lowry, but he's definitely playable just because I think he will get really big minutes if the game is close. But probably my favorite play from Miami is going to be Jimmy. And that's really it from Miami. I'm not really looking to anyone else on this team. None of the value guys stand out. So let's move on to the other side of this game with Atlanta. And looking at the Hawks here, you got Trae Young at 9,400, who's been pretty terrible in this series. First 2 games, Miami has done a really good job of just keeping Trae in check. Obviously was really bad in game 1 when they got blown out. Last game he played huge minutes, but he only had 39 DK points. He had 10 turnovers that game. Miami's defense has just been harassing Trae. They've been trapping him a lot. Trae's one of these guys that can win in any matchup and can put up a huge game no matter who's guarding him. But Miami does do a really good job stopping Trae. They have done a really good job so far this season. I don't think Trae's a standout play today. I think he's just kind of a tournament option if you're trying to get a little risky and you want to roster Trae just for the upside he has. It's fine. But I would rather go to Giannis. You got Chris Paul playing without Devin Booker, so I like Chris Paul a lot. You have Drew Holiday without Chris Middleton, so I think Drew looks like a really solid option. Trae's not someone I'm trying to prioritize paying up for, but obviously he's playable. He can put up a big game any night. Do want to talk about John Collins, though. So John Collins actually did start last game at center. He started over Onyeka Okongwu, and he played 29 minutes, had 31 DK points. I think the minutes are slowly just going to start to increase for John Collins, and especially while Clint Capella is still out. I mean, they need John Collins out there. I think he will start again once again. I think he'll probably play more minutes than he did last game. So I'm expecting about 32, 33 minutes from John Collins. And he's been productive, especially when he gets starts at center. When he plays center, his rebounding numbers see a spike. His fantasy just value goes up. I know the matchup against Bam is not ideal. Obviously, Miami is a really good defensive team. But 5,900 is too cheap for John Collins if he's going to be playing, 32, 33 minutes at center. So I do like John Collins today as kind of a cheaper power forward option. He's pretty affordable on Yahoo as well, so I do like him over there. $22 at the power forward position. He does stand out as a pretty solid play today. And then you have Bogdan coming off the bench for 5,500. I mean, Bogdan, he's got big-time upside. He's a high-usage player coming off the bench. He'll still play probably 30 minutes. He obviously had a really good game last game. With how much Miami is focusing their defense on Trey, that has allowed for guys like Bogdan, Kevin Huerter, DeAndre Hunter to get a little bit more opportunity. These guys have not been great outside of last game. Bogdan was really good. I think the opportunity will be there for Bogdan. The price tag's not that expensive either. So 5,500, I'm fine going to Bogdan today. I think he's definitely in play. Kevin Huerter is an okay value. He'll probably play, mid to high 30s minutes. Again, with how much Miami is focusing their defense on Trey. You see a lot of these games so far, these first two games in the series, you've seen Kevin Huerter get a lot of open looks from three. It just comes down to if he can hit them or not. Last game he shot 3 for 10, 3 for 7 from 3. He was able to get 5 rebounds and 6 assists, which is a little bit of an outlier. Normally he's not going to rack up those many peripherals. But I think at 5K with the minutes he should play, I think Kevin Huerter's an okay value. Same could be said for Gallo and Hunter. None of these guys stand out as glaring plays today, but Gallo probably plays 30 minutes if it's a close game. His minutes did go way down last game. I don't know if that's something that continues. Maybe with John Collins seeing more minutes, maybe that means Gallo's going to start playing less. But I think Gallo is still playable as long as he's still starting. DeAndre Hunter probably plays 30, 35 minutes. Played 35 last game. He's played 35 in both games so far in this series. Production has not been great. DeAndre Hunter is not a super productive point per minute player, but the minutes are going to be there. He's cheap. It's hard to find value on these playoff slates. So I think Hunter's an okay value, and I don't really think I'm going to anyone else on Atlanta. Worth noting that DeLon Wright did see increased minutes last game. He played 29 minutes. Is that something that continues? I really don't know. So I'm not super high on DeLon Wright. He's cheap, though. If you want to go there, it's okay. I mean, Atlanta basically I'm pretty sure they ran an 8-man rotation last game. I don't even think TLC got any minutes. He played 3 minutes, so Atlanta's going to run a tight rotation. You should expect big minutes for a lot of the main guys that get minutes, and you should see probably mid-20s minutes from DeLon Wright. So if you're looking for a punt option that cheap, he's definitely playable. But let's move on to the next game. Talk about Milwaukee and Chicago. So looking at the Bucks here, you got Giannis at the top, who I think looks like a top pay-up option today. It just comes down to if you can fit him in or not. With how these playoff slates work, there's usually not much value. But I will say with Devin Booker out today, with Chris Middleton out, that is going to give us some value that we'll talk about. Giannis's upside is just massive. We obviously know that, and especially now that Middleton's out, I think the ceiling is just even higher for Giannis. The Bulls don't have anyone that can stop him, so definitely interested in Giannis at 11-2. Drew at 8K, I like quite a bit. I mean, Drew, I think, gets a big bump in usage. He's actually seen the biggest bump in usage this season when Middleton's been off the floor. I think his usage rate goes up about 5%, so definitely like Drew here. He should play big minutes. I think the 8K price tag, probably keeps his ownership in check. Normally, Drew is not a guy that I really look to roster when Giannis is healthy. But now that you take Middleton out of the equation, that just opens up more opportunity for everyone else, and especially Drew. I think Drew is going to be a big beneficiary. I think he'll be, he should be able to be more aggressive offensively without Middleton, and I'm fine going to him at 8K. So I definitely like Drew on this slate. I think on Yahoo, you can play him over there as well. I'm at $35 at point guard. He does stand out as a pretty solid option on Yahoo. And then you got Bobby Portis, who I'm not really that interested in. I mean, he's just been playing mid-20s minutes off the bench. At 5,700, he doesn't stand out. Brook Lopez, though, I do want to talk about. So his minutes have actually been pretty good. He played 32 minutes in Game 1, 35 minutes in Game 2. Now, Bobby Portis did get injured last game and did not return. I think Bobby Portis, I just pulled up the game log. I think he played 6 minutes last game. Yeah, 6 minutes before he got injured and didn't return. Maybe that increased to Lopez's minutes a little bit, but I still think we get about 30 minutes from Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez has never been an amazing point per minute player, but he's productive enough that if he does continue to play 30-plus minutes, at 5,300, he has enough upside to pay off this price tag. He's a pretty pretty good shooter. He can score. He can shoot threes. He's not the best rebounder for a big man. Like Brook Lopez, this dude's like 7 foot, and he's not a great rebounder. He really boxes out. Like he boxes out for Giannis, so Giannis can get the rebounds. He's never actually in the paint fighting for rebounds. But he's a good scorer, and he's going to play pretty good minutes, I would think. Maybe without Middleton, there's going to be a little bit more usage available for Brook Lopez. So at 5,300, I kind of like Brook Lopez on the slate as a cheaper center option. He's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well. So on Yahoo at $15, I think you can definitely play Brook Lopez over there. He's been pretty good against the Bulls this season for what it's worth. When they played Chicago, he's done really well. Obviously, first 2 games in the series, been solid. And last time they played him in the regular season, he had like one of his best games of the season, 46 DK points. And then the rest of the Bucks, without Middleton, that might open up some more opportunity for guys like Grayson Allen and Pat Connaughton. I don't think either one of them stand out today, but they're playable values. The upside on these guys is not super high, but if you want to go to one of Allen or Connaughton, I don't hate it. Connaughton's probably my favorite just because I think his minutes are probably the most secure. We'll have to wait and see who starts in place of Middleton. Could be Connaughton, could be Allen. We'll just have to wait and see there. Whoever starts, I'd feel a little bit better about. But that's really it for Milwaukee. Let's go ahead and move on to the other side of this game, talk about the Bulls. So looking at Chicago here, you got DeMar DeRozan at the top for 8,600. DeRozan's obviously coming off a huge game, had over 60 Draftkings points last game. He's been playing huge minutes in this series. He played 43 minutes in Game 1. He played 44 minutes in Game 2. If we get another close game, which we should, Chicago's playing at home. I think this game does stay close. DeRozan's probably going to play over 40 minutes. 8,600 is not that expensive for him, so I'm definitely interested in DeRozan today. I think he's a very good option. I think Vooch is a really good option as well. He's been great so far in this series, been really productive. 56 and 47 Draftkings points in the first 2 games. Minutes have been really high as well. I think he'll play probably close to 40 minutes if this is a close game. 7,700 is not that expensive for Vooch when he's playing like 40 minutes a night, so I'm definitely interested in Vooch. Levine was kind of disappointing last game, but his minutes were still really, really high. He played 43 minutes last game. Like, you're just getting so many minutes from DeRozan, Vooch, and Levine that they're all in play for me. I wouldn't play all of them in the same lineup, but if you want to play one of the 2 or maybe even 2 of the 3 between the big 3 from Chicago, I'm fine with it just because these guys are going to play so many minutes if the game's close. I mean, the Bulls just don't have anyone else that can do anything. I mean, they have to rely on their big 3 just so heavily. Caruso was pretty good last game. He's never been a great point per minute player, but so far in the series, his minutes have been really solid. He's played 33 and 38 minutes. I think we do get probably mid 30s minutes from Caruso. Again, he's not a great point per minute player. He's really good for the team. He's a great team player. He's a great defender. He's a guy you want on your team. But for fantasy, when it comes to his fantasy upside, he's not a guy that you should expect to put up 35 Draftkings points every night. Most nights he's scoring like 20, 25 DK points. The price tag has come up as well. Caruso's a guy that I'm probably fine fading, especially if he's going to get more ownership just because he's coming off a big game. Patrick Williams, he's been okay. First 2 games in the series, 23 minutes, but played 32 minutes last game. He was productive last game. Patrick Williams is another guy that when he's playing with Vooch, DeRozan, Levine, he's not really that productive on a point per minute basis. He really benefits when those guys are off the floor. But he should start and play around 30 minutes, so he's an okay value play. But I'm really not going to anyone else off the bench for Chicago. These guys just don't play enough minutes to really be viable. The usage on this team is just so concentrated around these top 3 guys that it's really hard for any of these other guys to put up, super good games even at their salaries. So let's go ahead and move on to the last game of the night, the Suns and the Pelicans. So looking at the Suns today, a little bit of a different situation for them. No Devin Booker. Seems like he's probably going to be out the rest of this series. So we should expect a massive role for Chris Paul. I mean, Chris Paul, obviously, getting older, getting, up there in age, but he still has a ton of upside, and I think he can still shoulder a heavy workload if he needs to, and I expect his workload to be massive without Devin Booker. I mean, Chris Paul, he's probably going to have to be way more aggressive offensively. He's going to have the ball in his hands a ton. His assists are going to be, through the roof. Even at 8,900, I know the price tag came up, but I'm fine going to Chris Paul on this slate. I think he's got 55, 60 point upside without Devin Booker. I mean, this Suns team, they can get some offense from Ayton and Bridges and maybe Cam Johnson, but I think they're really going to have to lean into Chris Paul, and he's going to have to shoulder a very heavy workload. So I really like Chris Paul in the slate. Obviously, no Booker is a huge bump for him. And then on Yahoo, I do like Chris Paul over there as well. $38, I think he stands out as a really solid option on Yahoo. And then the other Suns, DeAndre Ayton, without Devin Booker, does he get a little bit of a boost? I think it's possible. He maybe will get more opportunity to score. 7,600, I think, is an appropriate price tag for Ayton, but I don't mind going there on this slate. Mikal Bridges, not a guy that we ever think about being a super productive point per minute player, but no Booker just opens up so much usage that maybe you see Mikal Bridges be more aggressive offensively. Mikal Bridges is a pretty good scorer. It's just that when he's playing with Devin Booker and with Chris Paul, he doesn't get a ton of opportunities. But we've seen him have big games. He's a guy that can shoot the ball well. He's obviously a great defender. He can get defensive stats. He's going to play huge minutes. So 6,200 is expensive for Bridges, but he probably will play like 40 minutes here. He's definitely viable if you want to go there. Jay Crowder, like another guy that doesn't offer a ton of upside. At 4,900, I'm not that high on Jay Crowder. He probably plays like 30 minutes. He's an okay value. But I feel better about a guy like Cam Johnson. So Cam Johnson, I don't think he'll start. If I had to guess, I would assume that Landry Shamet starts in place of Devin Booker. But Cam Johnson should see more run off the bench, and he should definitely see more usage as well. He's a guy that can score when he's out there. He's a great three-point shooter. He's a very efficient shooter. He's a guy that can rebound as well. I would think his minutes probably go up too with Booker out. So 4,700 for Cam Johnson, even though he probably won't start, I think he's a pretty good value play on the slate. I think he does benefit without Devin Booker. He's one of these guys that can provide them offense off the bench, and I think they're going to need that, with their top scorer out. So I do like Cam Johnson as a value play. He's pretty cheap on Yahoo as well. If you want to roster him over there, $17. I think you can definitely look to Cam Johnson on Yahoo. And then the other Suns guys like Cameron Payne, we'll have to wait and see like how much. It's going to be tough to tell how much they play Payne and Paul together. Obviously Payne is kind of the backup point guard, and he really backs up Chris Paul, but there's probably going to be a lot of times where you do see those guys playing alongside each other. I would think Cameron Payne plays more minutes here without Devin Booker, probably like low 20s. At 4,500, I don't think he's a standout play today, but he is at least playable. Obviously with that, when Booker and Paul are both healthy, you really just can't roster Cameron Payne. But now that Booker's out, I think there will be at least a few more minutes available for Cameron Payne. He probably will play some minutes alongside Chris Paul. So I think at 4,500, you can definitely go to Cameron Payne. He's a low on value that I'm kind of interested in. And then, like I said, Landry Shamet, I'm guessing he starts in place of Devin Booker. That's just a guess. To be determined. He wasn't even in the rotation in game one. Wasn't in the rotation, but he did play last game. He played 12 minutes. Again, I don't know who starts for Booker. My guess is it's going to be Shamet, but this will be something to monitor. If Shamet does start, he's 3,800. You could obviously go there, but he's another very low usage, low upside player. In order for Shamet to have a big game, he's going to have to get hot from the field, get hot from three. With playing alongside Chris Paul, obviously Chris Paul's a great facilitator, so I'm sure he'll be able to get Shamet some open looks, but not one of these guys that I'm ever excited to roster, and especially if he's going to be really popular, that's someone I'd be fine fading. But that's it for Phoenix. Let's talk about the Pelicans now before we end the video. So looking at New Orleans, you got Brandon Ingram at 9K, who is coming off a massive game. In game two, almost had a triple-double, went for almost 70 Draftkings points, played 39 minutes. The matchup against Phoenix is not ideal, but Brandon Ingram is just going to get so much usage and so much opportunity. He's going to play so many minutes that he is viable pretty much on any slate, especially with it just being a 3-game slate. But now that the price tag has gotten up to 9K, that's really expensive for Brandon Ingram. This is not a guy that we typically ever pay 9K for. I think given the savings, I would just rather roster CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum has just as much upside as Ingram. He's going to play the same amount of minutes, if not more. At 8,200, I think this is a good price tag for McCollum. Again, the matchup's not ideal for these guys, but the usage on this team is just dominated by McCollum and Ingram, and we're seeing both those guys play huge minutes. Again, I think both are in play, but given the savings, I do prefer McCollum if I had to go to one of the two. I think, McCollum is right up there with guys like Drew and Chris Paul in terms of, top point guard options today. And then you got J-Val at center for 7,400. Now, J-Val's minutes did get cut down a little bit last game, which is somewhat concerning. We did see them play a little bit of small ball. They played Larry Nance at the 5 like they did in that game against the Clippers. Does this continue? I don't really know. J-Val's been so productive on a point per minute basis that if he plays 30 minutes, obviously he can go for 50 Draftkings points. He did it in game one. But his minutes did get cut down a little bit. I don't know if that continues. I think it's, J-Val's a little bit risky here just because I don't think it's a guarantee he plays big minutes. But obviously the upside's there if the minutes are there. So if you want to take that risk, I'm fine with it. J-Val's one of these guys that just always has a big ceiling. And the rest of the Pelicans, Herb Jones, really out there for defense, out there just to kind of space the floor and shoot threes. But he's going to play huge minutes. He played 41 minutes last game, so he's kind of another guy that, doesn't offer a ton of upside, but he's going to play huge minutes. And it's hard to find on these playoff slates, it's hard to find guys this cheap, 4,500, that are going to play probably 35 to 40 minutes. So if you want to play Herb Jones just for the minutes that he's going to get, I think that's okay. Probably it from the Pelicans. Like, I don't think anyone else stands out here. I mean, Larry Nance got some additional run last game. He's been productive when he's gotten minutes, but I just don't know if he plays enough to really be viable. Jose Alvarado probably plays like 15 to 20 minutes. I just don't think you need to go there. Trey Murphy's been seeing some increased run off the bench. At 3,600, I guess if you're looking for a punt play, like Trey Murphy is fine if you wanted to go to him. But that's really it for the Pelicans. I don't think there's too much else that stands out here. So let's go ahead and wrap up this video. That's what I got for today, guys. 3-game slate for Friday night. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. I appreciate you watching. If you did enjoy, just hit that like button down below. Hit that subscribe button as well. Again, make sure to check out Prize Picks. Sign up for Prize Picks. Use promo code NOAH when you do. Prize Picks will match your first deposit up to $100 when you do sign up with my promo code. So you can take a look at Prize Picks board for Friday night's games, make some picks for yourself. As always, I will share a couple of my favorite plays on Prize Picks for today. I'll have a video posted. Maybe an hour or two after this video goes up, I'll post my Prize Picks video. So if you want to check that out, see some plays that I'm on for today, you can check that video out. But as always, make sure when you sign up for Prize Picks, use code NOAH, so that way you do get a deposit bonus when you sign up. But that's all that I got for today, guys. Wish you guys the best of luck on the slate. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Obviously, we'll be back on Saturday. I'll have videos posted for Saturday's slate. I think we have 4 games on Saturday, so a little bit of a bigger slate Saturday. We'll talk through things then. But again, enjoy your Friday night, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.